Along with other service members of the community, firefighters risk their lives every day to help those who cannot help themselves. Like many people in this world, they didn't know what their dream job was. Did you always want to be a firefighter?
No. I just...
Probably about 30 years ago when I first started to, I was first involved in the fire service. So.
Growing up, I had no idea. High school, I had no idea. And then in college, that's kind of when it kind of came to me that it was something I was interested in. My uncle was a firefighter, and so he kind of got me started in it, and so the rest is history then.
Mark English, the Cedar Rapids Fire Department Fire Chief, has been with the department for 30 years and 5 years as a Cedar Rapids Fire Chief. He states that being a firefighter is more than just putting out a fire and moving on. It's about making a difference in people's lives.
It's the helping people, but it's not just the community, it's our people. My job as the fire chief is to get them the resources they need to do their job. And so that's what really motivates me, is to be able to make a difference through them. We look at people that really want to make a difference, want to help people. And what I tell some people that aren't familiar with the fire service is, it's not all men, it's not all white men. It's a group of people that aren't just the big brawny guys from the old movies, the black and white movies. These are people that are really compassionate and genuinely care about what they do. They not only love being firefighters, they love being Cedar Rapids firefighters. What we tell candidates and other even office employees is, what we do, we actually make a difference in people's lives. Someone described it to me once as what our job is, getting people out of situations they can't get themselves out of. And a lot of our calls and our services, the ending would be different if we weren't there.
A lot of guys say this, and it's probably cliche, but it's almost like you're not coming to work. A lot of your closest friends are here. There is downtime here in between calls, but there's also a lot of training. But even when you're training, it's something that is a passion of ours, and we really enjoy doing it. I know there's a lot of people in this world that they drag themselves to work, but for 24 hours, it doesn't even feel like work.
I truly love my job. There are days I'd like to roll over and go back to sleep, but for the most part, every day I look forward to coming into work and being given an opportunity to make a difference in some way. And every day is, I guess, one of the things I like the most is that every day is a little bit different. No 2 days are alike.
The daily life of a firefighter? Well, that doesn't really exist. They don't have a set work schedule to go by. They deal with any situation that comes their way, any time of the day. Also, the station has people in the building working around the clock to make sure when a situation does happen, they can go right to the fire trucks and head off.
Typical day, those aren't real. So generally, shift starts at 7, but it's kind of an unwritten rule of common courtesy. Get here at 6:30 in case one of those late calls come in to relieve the crew from the day before. So generally get here around 6:30, get all your stuff situated, put your stuff in your bedroom, lunches, breakfast, whatever, get that in the fridge, and then come out here, get your gear by the truck, so if a call comes in, you're ready to go. And then I go through the truck every morning, just to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be, because on an emergency scene, I have to know that if I open up this compartment, everything's where it's supposed to be and I can grab it and go. Same with the EMS stuff on our vehicles, check that. When I'm done with that, then I go into the living quarters. I'll start cleaning bathrooms, cleaning the floors, stuff like that. Because this is our home, a lot of people don't realize that. So what you would do at home, we do here. So we clean our own house, stuff like that. And after that, we'll do breakfast, train in the morning, lunch, maybe some training in the afternoon, workout, and then dinner, and then kind of downtime after that.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? No, I'm just kidding. No, firefighters are pretty much busy from when they hit the door, getting their gear on the truck, getting ready to respond, relieving the crews that are going off, cleaning a station. The captains have administrative duties too. And they're obviously, we're here for 24 hours, so there is time for for breakfast, and but then the days are pretty full with training or out doing inspections or looking at hydrants, those kinds of things. The days are pretty packed with activities. So, we try to kind of wind down around 5 o'clock in the evening. The crews everybody's required to work out for at least an hour, either cardio or weight training or something, and then usually eat supper together, 6:30.
148 full-time firefighters are employed in stations citywide, and 5 are civilian or not sworn-in firefighters. Citywide, the fire stations receive about 11,000 calls per year. The downtown fire station receives about 6 to 10 on average per day.
The toners will go off, and it's kind of a little whoop, whoop, whoop. And then the voice dispatch will come over the air and give us the run, the address, what's going on. We do have computers in our vehicles that will have the same layout. It'll say, this is the address, this is what's going on, and some notes.
Greg Brenneman, a rookie on the Cedar Rapids Fire Department, has been with the department for about 7 months and also on a volunteer fire department for 6.5 years. Even being a rookie has its fair shares of challenges and plenty more rewards.
One thing a lot of people don't realize in the fire department is we have a lot of special operations that we do. So we have boat operations, we have high angle rescue, we have the USAR team, which is urban search and rescue. We have a hazmat team. So there's a lot of training that we do in the specialty. We don't just train only for fighting fires, and we do all the medical stuff as well. So training for the special stuff that doesn't happen as often is kind of a good focus for us, because it's a good way to tune up your skills in those areas that we don't get to touch on as much.
Pretty much anything rescue, emergency, you name it. Swift water rescue, boat recoveries, high angle, which is anything over a 45-degree angle, so rope rescue. Low angle rescue would be like down an embankment. Chemical or hazmat training, so if there's a chemical spill, we know how to deal with it, how to mitigate it. Firefighter training, EMS training. That's what we do. We train almost every week of every year. Last year, our people total aggregate was almost, I think, 27,000 hours of training. That's what we do. When we're not responding, we're training or we're delivering a community service.
Well, we do a lot of different types of training. We have some computer-based training. A lot of that's for like maintaining our EMS skills, but I'd have to say majority of our training is hands-on stuff. So we do a lot of drills, like live fire drills, where we actually will acquire a property and we'll set controlled fires, and the crews have to practice rolling up on scene and masking up, deploying a line, knocking the fire out. So it's everything from that type of training to training you do as a company in the fire station, practicing with ladders and different stuff. Might be an EMS class where we practice airway interventions and working with the defib and stuff like that. So it's it's a pretty wide variation of trainings that we do, in addition to hazardous materials and special operations stuff. It's pretty broad spectrum.
At one point in time, firefighting was strictly a man's business, and that is why firefighters were called firemen. Today, women are common in the field and seem to fit in just fine working alongside the men.
Yeah, we've had a number of females through the years, and they've all towed the line and jumped right in, and I think a lot of times they know that they're going to be kind of watched, maybe a little right or wrong. They're going to be watched a little more closely than the next person, and so they've all been more than up to the job. They've burned a path for females, to come. We don't have that many apply. I think we'd kind of like to see more, because over 60% of the calls we go on are medicals. There's still a very physical aspect to the job, but there's a lot of our work involves being good with patients and having good medical skills. So
it's definitely a certain person that can be a firefighter, but that is a firefighter. They always call it the brotherhood, I guess, but there's a lot of joking around and stuff like that, and they fit in just fine. It's usually, you find out usually during your early stages whether you're going to fit or not, or during your a lot of people that want to be firefighters will do ride-alongs, and then they'll kind of say, oh man, I'm not like those people at all, or man, I really like that, so they kind of weed out there. But as far as the females go here, a lot of them or all of them are really, really smart people, very physically fit. And I have no problem with females being firefighters. I always looked at it as, if you can do the job without, any handicaps, I guess, then so be it, and good for you. I really have no problem with the females being firefighters at all.
Every job has its highs and lows, and firefighting is no different. English, Brown, and Brenneman each tell us in their own words what is the most challenging part of their job and what is the most rewarding aspect of their job.
And we try our best and we don't get the outcome we want on a call. That if somebody passes away or if we can't save a structure, it's the ones that, as I said, that we tried our best and we still couldn't do what we wanted to do. We were just talking about that this morning. I went out, myself and the IT director for the city volunteered to help with Meals on Wheels today. And the guy that we rode with was my former boss, an assistant chief that retired, and we were talking about calls and how we could write a book about the things we've seen and the things our people have seen. In a general sense, the most memorable is always going to be the flood, the things we did with that. We're still very proud that there was no flood-related deaths. Our people were there 100% of the time. And I'm sure I'm not the longest one. June 12th and 13th, I was here at work in the field for 30 hours straight. And we were just talking about that this morning. I remember the next day when I went home, I was at the Emergency Operations Center at 4 a.m. and I didn't get to bed till 10 a.m. the next day. And I was so tired, and my body just hurt. I was exhausted. And it was just all the things that our people did during the event. I'll call it the overall event of the flood.
Well, it's kind of goes hand in hand with the one of the best things about doing our job is we're helping people. Sometimes on the like the worst day of their lives, so a lot of times you have to see people on the worst day of their lives. I think probably across the board, most firefighters would say the worst thing to have to deal with is anything involving kids. Whether it's a sickness or a code or car accidents especially. Those are probably the hardest days. So.
Honestly, it's a great job. I love the schedule. I love the people you work with. As a rookie, they like to bust your balls a lot, but it's all in fun. So just every aspect of this job is just great.
Firefighters work in shifts of 24 hours, and it is crucial that they respond to emergencies as one cohesive unit. When spending that much time together, bonding is something that becomes necessary to achieve this.
Well, sometimes there's firehouse antics. I won't go into detail, but most of the crews, they like to keep things fairly light. So there's some shenanigans that go on sometimes. So, but the crews most of them are pretty tight knit. Like I said, they usually eat together, at least at supper time, sometimes all 3 meals. The crews do a lot of stuff off duty too. Their families know each other, and kids know each other and stuff. So it's more than just a job and a bunch of people you work with. So kind of like a family. One is
I know everybody here. I know all their names. Most of them, if they're married, I know their spouse. I know their kids. We are truly a brotherhood or a sisterhood, a family. And what we tell people, try to explain, it's not a job, it's not a career, it is seriously a way of life. I was on shift out in the truck for 10 years. My mom and dad never did understand what my schedule was. But it's kind of like the military, and we are a paramilitary organization. We have ranks that it's the things we've experienced together that draw us closer together.